Welcome to my tutorial for Wayne's World for the NES, a very shitty game. I also did a review for it, which I'll link in the description. So this is going to be my unedited playthrough, and I'm just adding commentary over it. I didn't do any refinements. I did have some better runs on certain sections in practice, but I didn't splice them in for this game because really this game is not really deserving of a lot of time to put together a damageless tutorial or something like that. So we start off here. We're just going to get on this drum. You may want to kill the first few enemies, then get on the drum, crouch, and keep firing, and you will ride through the first stage very easily. I got some of this information off of another video tutorial that I watched of the game, so I had an idea of how to pull some bullshit. This game took me around 1 hour 54 minutes to beat, which I may have already mentioned. So here we're just going to crouch and kick everything, basically. Don't worry about the hornets or whatever they are that drop shit, because it doesn't really seem to hurt you, so just ignore those. And stay on the bottom route. Don't go up on the upper platforms or anything like that, or you will have to worry about the hornet because it'll actually ride into you, and then you'll take damage. So just stay on the bottom. And that's it. Now we have our first boss fight. So I recommend only hitting this thing once and then retreating. The thing that caught me up was that the right corner of the screen, you can't go flush to the corner. You know what I mean? There's like a gap, and it's not. There's no visible indicator of it. But of course, it's a shitty game. But see, I got jammed up in the corner because I thought I could go farther to the right, but you can only go to about the middle of the door. So, best thing to do is to just start jumping over it before it gets to that point, and just take it slow and just hit it once at a time. Use the boxes and platforms to get up over it when it comes back to the left, but I would recommend not getting greedy with it because you don't get health restored between stages. You get it in bonus stages when you grab these fucking donuts and shit. You'll get some health back, and that's about the only way you get it back. So now we'll see a bonus stage. Now, if you want to actually learn it, you can save state practice this by using save states to practice this area and just keep reloading, but I didn't want to bother because I knew that I had like 4 lives to beat the game. I knew it was a short game, and I didn't really care about getting any 1-ups. But if you want to get 1-ups, what you have to do is collect every donut on the bonus stages. And then, I guess, exit out of the door. And I think if you do that, you'll get a 1-up, but I never did it. I couldn't figure out how to get on some of the platforms because of the shitty jumping and, and all that shit. But it is doable. If you really want to sit there and learn it, you do have the option. I wouldn't recommend wasting your time. I would say it's just easier to just restart the game and play the first few levels again because it's a short game. It's only about a 17-minute game if you play it well. So for this stage, just keep shooting, go to the last platform, and then make your way back to the left. That's it. It's super fucking easy. There's a bouncing thing, a barrel, but you probably won't get hit by it if you keep moving. So now this is easy, but I always take damage on these guys because it's such a narrow platform with such bad control. A lot of times I'm facing the wrong fucking way because it's so fucking... I described the control, in my review I described the control as being somewhere in between a regular NES action game and something like Prince of Persia, And that's not a good thing. It's like it almost has the sluggishness of a game with more animation, like a more cinematic game, like Out of This World, which were kind of designed to have bad control. But for an action game, it really doesn't work in the favor of the game, But this is made by THQ, which they put out especially bad games similar to LJN. They're basically another LJN, and they don't get mentioned too much, but they're right up there. There's probably a few companies that are even worse than LJN overall as far as the quality of their games. This may be, I don't know, it would be close for companies that put out bad shit. Ocean may be even worse than LGN and THQ combined, but that's another story. So for that guy, all you do is crouch and kick that guy. It's your first little boss version of that character, but then he becomes somewhat of a regular enemy. So you're just going to crouch and kick him. I didn't really have to explain much there. As for the guys on the platforms, you just jump to the platform, try to leave a little room so you're not getting hit, and then just try to stun lock them by crouch kicking them. That's about it for that. We got another bonus stage here. You can get some health back. I wouldn't bust your balls, because you do have a few lives. Now, if you do die, you usually get sent back. You get sent back a few sections, maybe 2 or 3 sections. A lot of times, depends where you die. If you die on the actual part that's the checkpoint, then you may start at that stage. But A lot of times when I die, it would be on a harder part, and then I'd get sent like 2 or 3 sections back. And soon we're going to see the hardest areas of the game, because it's very short. So this is another very easy stage if you take it slow with this Garth character. All you do, I use turbo on my controllers a lot of the time, and you'll see that when I play through games. So if I don't mention it, there's a good chance I'm using it. If it has some kind of use in the game, I'll probably will use it. So basically all I do is I kind of just jump up and down while firing, and I just inch the screen. And that gives me pretty good coverage without having to really memorize what's coming up. So it's kind of an old trick that I'll use in games, that especially if I don't have the areas memorized. And a lot of games I don't need to memorize it if I play carefully enough with these kind of sections. So it's just really easy if you move slow. You won't take much damage. Just try to shoot everything. Killing the cats will give you some health back, so pick that up. You're probably going to have to kill them anyway, because they're going to jump around and annoy the shit out of you. And then at the very end of this section, you're going to deal with a pink ninja, which is the boss of the stage. But it's very easy. It's just a little annoying because it keeps disappearing, so it may take a few rounds to take it out. Sometimes you can kill it super fast. I guess it just depends how many bullets you get in before it disappears, but it's very easy. So yeah, you'll see it hovers around. It kind of just teleports around the stage a little bit. And see, it's still alive because it decided to leave. Sometimes it hangs around longer than you would like, but a lot of times I'll kill it really fast. It just kind of depends how many bullets it eats, I guess, before it disappears. And you may take some damage on it. It's a little annoying, but it shouldn't be a big deal. And then you get another bonus stage right away, so you're going to get some of that health back. But like I said, don't waste your time trying to practice these with save states to try to learn it. And maybe it won't be that hard for you to get them all. Maybe you'll find that it's not that fucking complicated. But I don't know. For me, it felt really fucking sloppy. I didn't want to waste my time trying to figure it out. So I just grabbed the ones that are easily available for me to get. And that usually gives me enough health anyway. I mean, I'm not going to get any 1-ups or anything, but I can get through most of the game without a single death. So as long as I have a few lives, it gives me a few shots at the last stretch of the game. I have a good chance of beating it. So that's what I relied on. And, I did break through eventually. Sub 2 hours is pretty fast for an NES game, to beat an NES game. Most of them take a lot longer for me to beat. So for this, you want to wait for these wires to fall off the platforms and then move. You also got to time the rhythm of your kick so you can kind of bounce those signs to a rhythm. So once you land the first kick, it's pretty easy to get the second one in. But if you miss the first kick and get hit, you can get chained pretty bad. So it could be hard to recover. But you want to try to keep the rhythm. So you get that first kick in, and it's on like a rhythm, like a beat. And once you get that in your muscle memory, then it's pretty easy to deal with them. You really don't even necessarily need to practice the timing on that. It's pretty easy to do. But this is still a very annoying little section, because if you don't wait for the plugs to leave, you get it becomes like an orgy of bullshit, because your recovery times and the animations and all that shit are a big pain in the ass. So here we're just going to jump over most all the spiders. At least in this section, we're not going to fight any of them. I prefer to jump, and on that first part, it's actually quite hard. Where you first spawn in with the first spider. After you jump over the first spider, use regular jumps. You have a super jump if you press up with your jump, but use regular jumps for the first 2 spiders in this section. Don't use the super jumps, because you'll get knocked into the pit if you don't do it right. It's hard to explain, but you want to jump over the first spider, then jump off the edge of the first ledge, and then you want to take a hit from the second spider, and then you want to use a high jump to jump over it. Kind of hard to explain. Like I said, this game is very anal, but I did do it a specific way that I was able to break through. So if you can analyze it, and that's a very hard part, because with how slow your jumps are, the timing is really fucked up. So that was like the hardest part for me overall. So we'll see it again at least. We'll see it a few more times. So I will get to go over this again, which is good, because I think I do need to go over this a few times to detail everything. So wait for the plugs to fall. and then try to get your kicks in, obviously. You're probably going to get hit on the first sign. It spawns on your ass as soon as you enter the door to this area. So if you take a hit there, don't worry about it. Now, this part I get hit usually because look how sloppy this shit is. Like, the problem is when you jump to that platform, you have like this stun lock where you land and you get stun locked. So I was pretty much toast at this point. Even if I beat this stage, I don't have enough health to get through the spiders and all that shit because of the way I practiced it. The way I practiced that, the next areas, I do take some damage. So I don't have like a no damage method. So I'm pretty much going to die early on anyway because I got to take damage on this second spider, as I mentioned. See, I do regular jumps, regular jump, but then, of course, I'm always going to take a hit on this second spider. So the problem with that is I need some health to be able to take that first hit. And then once I take the hit, I use my brief iframes to jump over it and get moving, across. But I do need to take the hit on the second spider for my method. So, that is a problem if I don't have any health. So I probably fucked this up again. It's not as easy as it looks because you really got to take it slow and let those plugs fall. And then you're going to get stun locked here. Watch. When I make the jump. I wait for this to fall. Oh, I didn't get stun locked. Maybe it's not that one. There's going to be one jump that I get stun locked when I land it. It's really shitty. I don't know. I may have already missed it, but let's see. Yeah, it probably already happened. But if you look closely, there's one jump where you'll get stun locked when you land it. And then you'll get hit by the sign. So I usually take at least a hit on that. So now I see I took the hit from the second spider, and then you see I did like a high jump to get over it. And then I just keep high jumping my way. So up and jump to do that super jump, that high jump. And you need to do it, I think, to get across there anyway, this gap. Be patient and wait for the droplets to fall. Don't rush it, because you don't really need to be taking extra damage. There's a few parts where it makes sense to get hit, but you don't want to get hit on, on everything. So yeah, I paused for a little bit, but you just want to keep jumping through here. I like to jump on that part, but not like that. So now I think we're going to see the proper way to do all these sections. So now let's see if it comes out better. I didn't want to edit this tutorial down because it's a short game anyway, and I figured I'd show how the game works. And, I don't want to make it look like it's super fucking easy, really. It's a sloppy fucking game, so I think it illustrates that better if I show everything. So the signs take 2 kicks to take out, so you want to get used to that. But let's see if I get stun locked. Yeah, see I got stun locked, and then I couldn't recover in time to kick the sign, so I always take a hit there. Maybe you can do that with a regular jump, but I feel like a regular jump wouldn't get across there. Maybe that's why I'm getting stunned when I land, but either way, I think it's all right to take a hit there. Just try to do the rest of the stage flawlessly. For this guy, you just distance your regular kick. Just inch your way with regular kicks until you find the sweet spot, and you can stun lock the guy. So I take the hit on the second spider, and now I'm just high jumping my way through here. Wait for these 2 things to drop. Be patient. Don't try to rush it. Just wait. Wait till you have a clear opening. Don't try to second guess it, because that's when you get hit. So same thing here. So now we're going to jump through here. And now there's going to be one part that I pretty much fuck up on most of the time. And I don't have a consistent way to do it. For that part, I like to jump straight up in the air so I can dodge that droplet. Because when the droplet hits, it kind of moves to the right. So that's what I was doing there. But I made a save here just in case, because I may have needed to practice this more. So I make saves to practice parts that I may need. So I got it this time. Yeah, I never use save and load states to cheat, but I do use them to practice. So if I were to die and fail my run, I would go back to my save state and practice that droplet section again, and that's how I refine my practice. The first thing I did with this game after playing it briefly was I made a save state practice run through the entire game. That's what I always recommend doing with these kind of games. So what I did was I make saves and I make sure that I learn every section, to my satisfaction. And then once I've done that, I'll play the game legit without any saves, without loading any of the saves. I'll make saves, but I'm making them as a safeguard in case I die and lose the run. I'll be like, all right, well, this is where I fucked up at. So this is the part I need to practice. So, that's how I refine my runs. Rather than practicing bullshit I don't need, I've learned to do like isolated practice and get through games faster by, not doing a lot of extra practice that's not really going to help me too much. So I try to refine that and practice more efficiently. And save states is the best way to do isolated practice of sections, so you can learn every little section and then you can put it together in a legit run. So that's what I do. I have the full unedited, playthrough up as well, which also shows all the practice, all the failed attempts. It's around 1 hour, 54 minutes. That shows the whole process. So if you're interested in seeing exactly what I mean by the practice, that's it. So now this is like pretty much the final stretch, but this part can be tricky because, shit can knock you into the holes. But you mainly want to use the super jumps most of the time. You just want to jump your way through and just try to get through. But again, practice it with save states because there's parts where you can get jammed up on the cats, which is really annoying. You got shit everywhere, so it's irritating, to say the least. Sometimes I just take the hits. It's just easier to take the hits, but you can only do that so much. So you want to jump over these last two cats with super jumps, get in the gap, do another, second jump over the second cat. And now this is the final section, I believe. So just try to get up here as fast as you can. And get, if you got to take a few hits down there, it's all right. You don't want to take hits near the end, though. You can get, stun locked by the multiple things everywhere. So try to get over there without too much of a problem. Now for this guy, this is not my cleanest run of the guy. I've done a no damage in practice. But what you got to do is you want to lure this guy to an open area. And you're going to see me fuck it up initially. You want a more open area where there's not platforms and shit for him to climb onto like that. So, basically, best thing to do, go all the way back to the beginning of the stage and just start kicking. And eventually he's going to attack you and he's going to get hit by your kick. And as long as you're mashing kick, he's going to get stun locked and killed, and you'll probably take no damage at that point. So if you want to be safe, just go all the way to the left of the screen as soon as you spawn the boss. Lure him back, but make sure he's following you. If you go to the left really fast, you'll despawn the boss, and then you got to go back and spawn him again. So just move. Make sure he's following you and take him. Lead him to the left of the screen where it's safer, where there's no platforms, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, very shitty game. I'll post a link to my review as well, and if you search the game on my channel, you will find the unedited raw attempt. Shows the whole practice and everything. If you're interested in that, if you have any questions, let me know. And thanks for watching.